Aloha and mahalo for joining me. I'm Janin, and today I want to talk to you about how you show up in your life. Now, that's not something that people like to talk about, but you know what? We have to talk about hard things. And sometimes talking about how you show up in your life can be really hard. I know, because I ask myself that question quite often, maybe not in those exact words, but every now and then I try to ask myself, okay, how are you dealing with life today? How are you presenting yourself or showing yourself? I ask myself all the time these questions. These are hard questions, but we have to ask ourselves these things because we have to improve and get better as we get older and go through life. And one thing about getting older that I like, probably the only thing, is that I feel like I get smarter. Some other things in life aren't always so pleasant with getting older, but I love the fact that I feel like I have wisdom, right? I've had knowledge that I've used and gained experience, which equals wisdom. But throughout these years, I've had to ask myself these hard questions. Like, how do you show up, Janin? How do you really want to deal with life? How do you want to enjoy your day at work or wherever I was or whatever I do? I'm always trying to pay attention to how my attitude is. And of course, I talk a lot about how to dress and, things like that. You want to make sure that you dress well. You don't want to look like you just got out of bed. You want to have dignity, and I think that's something that a lot of people have lost over the years. It's not something that we really think about, dignity, but when you get older, you realize that it's really important. And so there's all these things that are connected. And so I really want you to ask yourself each day, every week, every month, for the rest of your life, how do you want to show up everywhere you are, everywhere you go, and in everything that you do? Do you want to show up, fully present and that you're happy? Some days we're not going to always be happy, but you can still ask yourself those questions, even though you may be having a hard day, because we all have a choice, right? If we're having a bad day, we can choose to be miserable or be nasty, or we can choose to be happy and try to have joy and try to, make the best of what we have. We have to have trials in life, right? We have to be able to work through them and overcome them. And that's how we grow as human beings, how we become a better person. So ask yourself these questions right now. How do you want to show up? Decide, make that decision today how you want to be. Do you want to be a happy person? Do you want to be a negative person? We're human beings. We're imperfect human beings, in fact. So we're not going to always have perfect days. And that's when we really need to ask ourselves that question. How do we want to show up today? Because it's so easy to say, I don't really care. I'm in a bad mood. Everybody just get out of my way. I've done that, but it doesn't really work out too well. And as you get older, you realize these things and you make more of a conscious effort to have a better day. And when you're not having a good day, then you realize, okay, just because I'm unhappy or I'm upset about something, it doesn't mean that I have to make everybody else around me miserable either. It's not their fault that I'm having a bad day, or it's not their fault that I'm unhappy, right? We all have our own situations and circumstances that we live in, and we all have our own mindsets and thoughts that go through our head like all day long. We have our own self-talk and things like that, which kind of can make you crazy if you're not aware of what's going on in your head all day long. But ask yourself these questions, because you'll notice as you do ask yourself this question every day, and maybe you don't have to use those exact words. You don't have to say, how am I going to show up today? But ask yourself those kinds of questions, because you'll notice as you do that every day and make it a habit, that you realize that you change your attitude quickly and quicker and easier. And then you start to realize that, you know what? I don't want to be miserable today, even though you've had a bad morning or you got into a fight with your spouse or you fought with your kids. I've done that a lot when my kids were young, and you know, it happens. That's life, right? Don't be so hard on yourself, because we all have to go through these things, and every family dynamic is very, very different. And you know, I used to argue with one of my children a lot, almost on a daily basis, as we were going to school, as I was taking her to school. It's really worth it. It's really a good thing for you to do, because even though I talk about how to dress and how to dress well, that's really only a small part of your life. That's only really a small part in how you show up. You know, you want to dress so that you look like you've actually made an effort. You want to dress so that, you know, you feel comfortable, and when you feel comfortable, you present yourself a lot differently. You know, when your clothes fit you right, you know, you feel better, you feel a lot more confident, you feel like, okay, I don't have to worry about fussing with my clothes all day long and something's not right and you're pulling at your clothes. Once you get to that point where you dress well, then the other part of it is your mindset and your attitude, and emotions, of course, is a big, big deal in our life, right? A lot of times we live our life by emotions. And so if you have a hard time, just check in with yourself to see what's going on. What kind of thoughts are you having? Emotionally, how are you feeling? You know, physically, how do you feel? Because physically, if you don't feel good in your body, then you're gonna have a really stressful day, right? Because maybe you have a backache, or your legs hurt, or you got a headache. All those things affect our day, and it's gonna affect how you show up in your life. Because a lot of us don't have the luxury of sitting on the couch eating bonbons, like they say. You know, we have to work, we have to, you know, take care of our home, take care of our families. You know, even though everybody's situation is different, we all still have obligations, we all have things that we have to do in our life. And don't forget that you have your own dreams and desires and wishes and things that you've thought about that you want to do as well, right? Besides the necessities or the obligations that we have. So think about that, and if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I want to offer you a 20-minute complimentary consultation with me. If you feel you want to work with me, click on the link in the description below this video so that we can talk, and I would love to work with you. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't subscribed yet, and share this video especially for anyone who you know will get great value out of it. I want to share everything that I know with you, and things that have worked for me, and share things, of course, that didn't work too. But please share this video and subscribe and sign up for that complimentary consultation. I would love to talk with you, and I hope you have a great day. Aloha.